Ever wondered how to master the game of chess? This ancient game of strategy and wits traces its roots back to 7th century India, evolving into the modern rules we know today by the end of the 15th century in Europe. Chess, a global phenomenon, is played by millions around the world, making it one of the most popular games today. It's not just a game, but a reflection of strategic thinking and abstract problem solving. Chess has had profound influences on a variety of fields, such as mathematics, computer science, and psychology, demonstrating its wide-ranging impact. Over centuries, a vast body of chess theory has developed, reflecting the game's depth and complexity. And let's not forget, the goal of early computer scientists was to create a chess-playing machine, leading to the creation of Deep Blue, the first computer to beat a reigning world chess champion in 1997. Ready to dive into the world of chess? Let's first understand the battlefield and the warriors, the chessboard and the pieces. The chessboard is a square grid composed of 64 squares, arranged in an 8x8 pattern. These squares alternate in color, creating a checkered pattern that's as iconic as the game itself. The colors are often referred to as light and dark, symbolizing the two opposing sides of the game, but the actual colors can vary. The game is fought between two opponents, each controlling a set of 16 pieces. These pieces are divided into two colors, traditionally white and black. Each color has one king, one queen, two rooks, two knights, two bishops, and 8 pawns. The king, the most valuable piece on the board, moves one square in any direction. The queen, the most powerful piece, can move any number of squares along a rank, file, or diagonal. The rook can move any number of squares along a rank or file. The bishop can move any number of squares diagonally. The knight, unique in its movement, can move to a square that is 2 squares horizontally and 1 square vertically, or 2 squares vertically and 1 square horizontally. The pawn, the most numerous yet the least powerful piece, moves forward 1 square but captures diagonally. Each piece has a unique value, not just in terms of their movement, but also in their strategic worth. The queen, with her unrestricted movement, is usually considered the most valuable, followed by the rook, then the bishop and knight, and finally, the humble pawn. However, it's the king that holds the most significance. The game's primary objective is to trap the opponent's king in such a position that it cannot escape capture, a situation known as checkmate. Despite its value, the king is also one of the least mobile pieces, making it a fascinating paradox within the game. Now that we know our pieces and the battleground, let's learn how to set them up. Setting up the chessboard correctly is the first step towards mastering the game. So, let's get started. The chessboard is a square with 8 rows and 8 columns, creating 64 alternating light and dark squares. Now each player has 16 pieces. 1 king, 1 queen, 2 rooks, 2 knights, 2 bishops, and 8 pawns. For the initial setup, the rooks take the corners, followed by the knights next to them. The bishops are next in line. The queen finds her place on the remaining matching color square, and the king takes the last spot beside her. The second row is completely occupied by pawns. It's the mirror image for the other player. So, your board should have 2 armies facing each other, ready for battle. Remember, precision in setting up the board is a reflection of your understanding and respect for the game. With the board set, we're ready to start the game. But who makes the first move? In chess, the privilege of the first move is always with white. This first move is a crucial one. It's the opening salvo that sets the tone for the entire game. It's like the first note in a symphony, the first stroke on a blank canvas. It lays the groundwork for everything else that's to follow. The opening move can dictate the flow of the game. It can set up the strategies or defenses you wish to deploy. It can be aggressive or defensive, setting a trap or preparing for a long game. It's a chance to start putting your plan into action, to start shaping the battlefield to your advantage. But remember, the first move is just that, the first of many. It's not a guarantee of victory, but merely the starting point. The game of chess is a complex dance of strategy and counter-strategy, where every move matters. Now let's learn about the objective of the game. The ultimate goal in chess is not just to capture, but to corner the enemy king. This is what we call checkmate. But before we delve into the concept of checkmate, let's first understand check. A king is in check when it is under direct threat of capture on the next move. This can come from any piece on the board. The player with the threatened king must immediately remove the threat of capture on the next move. This could be by moving the king to a safe square, capturing the threatening piece, or placing a piece between the king and the opponent's piece. Now, if a player's king is placed in check and there is no legal move that will remove the threat of capture on the next move, then it's a checkmate. In this situation, the game ends immediately. The player who delivered the checkmate is the winner. To achieve this, you must use your pieces in a coordinated manner. Cornering the enemy king often involves a combination of your pieces working together. This could be a queen and a bishop, two rooks, or even a knight and a pawn. The key is to control the squares around your opponent's king, leaving him no safe place to move. Checkmate ends the game, but what if neither player can checkmate? Not all battles end in victory, some end in a truce. In the intricate world of chess, sometimes a game doesn't culminate in a checkmate. Instead, it can end in a draw or a stalemate, both of which are very different scenarios. Let's explore these concepts. A draw is like a diplomatic agreement between opponents. It occurs when neither player can force a win. There are several ways a game can end in a draw. For instance, if the same exact position is repeated 3 times, then a player can claim a draw. This is known as the threefold repetition rule. Another instance is the 50-move rule. If 50 moves pass without a pawn move or a capture, the game can be claimed as a draw. Now let's talk about stalemates, which are a bit more dramatic. A stalemate is a special kind of draw that occurs when a player is not in check, but has no legal moves. Imagine a king cornered with no escape routes, but also not under direct attack. It's like being trapped in a deadlock, and it's a signal that the game is over, even though no one has technically won. Remember, while these scenarios may seem less exciting than a checkmate, they're a crucial part of chess, and understanding them can significantly enhance your game. Now that we know how a game can end, let's move on to some strategies. In chess, a strategy is key. It's more than just moving pieces. It's about planning and outthinking your opponent. Now let's dive into some basic strategies that can help you gain an upper hand in the game. First up is control of the center. The center of the board, particularly the 4 squares in the middle, are crucial strategic points. Controlling these squares with your pawns or pieces gives you more room to maneuver and can limit your opponent's options. Next, we have piece development. This strategy is all about getting your pieces out from their starting positions and into the game as quickly as possible. In the early stages of the game, it's especially beneficial to develop your knights and bishops. Remember, every piece has a role to play, and a piece that's not in play can't help you control the board. Then there's king safety. Your king is your most valuable piece, and its safety should be one of your top priorities. Castling, a special move that involves the king and one of the rooks, is a great way to safeguard your king. Not only does it tuck your king away in a corner of the board, but it also brings one of your rooks into play. Lastly, let's talk about planning and thinking ahead. Chess isn't just about reacting to your opponent's moves, it's about anticipating them. Try to think a few moves ahead and consider what your opponent might do in response to your moves. This foresight can help you set traps and avoid falling into one set by your opponent. Remember, these strategies aren't fixed rules. They're more like guiding principles that can help shape your game. Chess is a game of infinite possibilities, and each game is a new puzzle to solve. So, experiment with different strategies, learn from your games, and most importantly, have fun. After all, the beauty of chess lies in its complexity and the joy of overcoming challenges. These strategies are your first step towards mastering chess. Chess is a game of the mind, and like any muscle, the mind needs exercise. It's essential to practice regularly to keep your strategic thinking sharp and your knowledge of the game fresh. Don't limit yourself to one type of opponent or playing style. Engage with different players, each with their unique strategies and moves. This exposure will broaden your understanding of the game and equip you with a diverse range of tactics. Invest time in studying classic games too. These are treasure troves of tried and tested strategies, and they provide invaluable insights into the minds of chess masters. Analyze their moves, understand their strategies, and learn from their triumphs and mistakes. Emulate their thinking processes and apply them to your own games. Chess is not just about winning or losing, it's about learning, growing, and enjoying the journey. Remember, every grandmaster was once a beginner. Your journey to mastering chess starts now.